Hello guys and welcome to Yekaterinburg. We have a 3-day stop here as we travel along the Trans-siberian Railway and we're going to go and explore what there is to do.
Okay, so we're in Yekaterinburg and we're down an ice festival.
It's very beautiful and I've just been down the slide. It was so much fun. But look at this place. It's I guess a small taste of what Harbin's going to be like. This is just on a little, like an intersection corner here in Yekaterinburg. I've never seen ice sculptures like this. It's really amazing. Welcome to a beautiful winter's day here in Yekaterinburg. We're going to go for a little walk now and see what there is to do around. First up is the Church on Blood. What is that, you wonder? Let's find out.
Is that the river? The river is non-existent right now.
So the first place we're at is the Church on Blood and it's probably the most popular tourist point in Yekaterinburg. It's actually the location where the Romanov family were murdered and they built this church on top of it several years later. We're going to go and have a look inside and find out some more information on the history of it. Now this church was built on top of where the Romanov family were executed during the Bolshevik Revolution. And it's actually very beautiful inside, so we're going to go take a look. Okay, so a few things to know in the church. Downstairs you can't take any film or photos, but upstairs you can. Also, men have to take their hats off, but women are allowed to keep their hats on or their hood up. I think it may be compulsory because they told me to put mine back on. And it's free to enter. Well worth a visit, definitely a highlight. It's absolutely gorgeous in there. Up next is the Yekaterinburg observation deck.
Okay, so one thing I've noticed since walking around Yekaterinburg, it's the end of December, it's freezing cold and our phones are very slow, the LCD screen isn't very responsive, but also the camera is not very responsive. Even the focus ring is like really stiff and slow to move, so it's quite hard to use. We did fly the drone as well and was giving me all sorts of warnings, high wind and temperature warnings, so we cut that short. But it's very beautiful nonetheless. Wintertime in Yekaterinburg is a sight to see. Okay, next top attraction in Yekaterinburg is the observation deck. It's at the top of this massive tower. Woo!
So it costs 350 rubles each and we've got tickets to go to the 52nd floor.
Here we go.
Pretty cool view. You got a full 360 view of the whole of Yekaterinburg. I think we've chosen a really good time to come up here as well because the sun is setting, so that's really pretty. And it's actually not that cold up here. I think these windows are a bit of a windbreaker, so it's quite nice. So one level down from the viewing platform is a very lovely restaurant. We thought we'd have a wander in here because we're really hungry and it's a bit posh. But I thought, well, why not? So I've ordered a few side dishes and some tea and we're just going to sit here and eat and enjoy the sunset.
Okay, so our afternoon snack has been very nice. We had this fantastic view. The sun's just going down now. And I think that is the end of our first day here in Yekaterinburg. Back to the apartment we're staying and we'll have some dinner.
While we've been eating, it's dropped to about -14, -15, and we have to go back outside to get to the supermarket, and we're very nervous. We haven't been this cold before.
Okay, I'm on my own today. Charlotte is at home. She's not feeling very well, so I'm out exploring Yekaterinburg by myself. Got a couple of things I want to do. I want to fly the drone. There's an abandoned building near a park just south of where we're staying. I'm going to get some coffee, food, and see what else we find. Let's do it. I'm pretty impressed. It's freezing cold. And the gimbal is operating as it should. Okay, so it's really nice walking through this park. It's like all white. The sun is like shining through the trees. And it's like a winter wonderland. Check it out. So pretty. Oh, it is cold though. Right, so I've just got to get around this building in front of me. And then on the other side of that is some abandoned building. Well, that was a successful drone flight. I was a little bit worried about the temperature of the drone, but it managed to stay up and get a couple of cool shots. I didn't fly too far away just in case, but yeah, it was good. It's been a pretty productive day, getting some cool shots of Yekaterinburg, and now I'm just enjoying myself a nice little mocha with a cute fox. It's sunset now here in Yekaterinburg, and I'm going to try and send the drone up above this interesting building. It's a circus here. Yeah, it should be cool. So the hardest thing about flying the drone in this kind of this temperature and these conditions, I mean, it's beautiful. There's no wind, no snow. It's just icy cold, and the drone struggles with that a little bit. You get all sorts of warnings. The other thing is your fingers are freezing cold and I can't imagine what the drone feels like up there, but yeah, it's really hard. Does anyone have any tips for operating drones in these kind of conditions? If you do, leave some comments below so I can learn, because it's freezing.
Today is our third and final day in Yekaterinburg, and we're going to go and look for the Beatles Monument. I found out online that this Beatles Monument was funded exclusively by Beatles fans, and it cost I think over 2 million rubles, so we're going to go and check that out. It's pretty interesting how they have all these references here to Western pop culture. We got a Doctor Who box and the Beatles. I think Beatles lyrics all going down here. It's very cool and unusual to find in the middle of Russia. And it's very nice here, it's just alongside the river. So it's a really nice walk.
Okay, here we are at the, what is it called? Memorial to Keyboards. And if you're having a pretty bad time, you can hit Control-Alt-Delete and restart your life. We're not going to do that. I'm just going to spell my name. Did it! It's a lot easier without all the snow and ice. So you're supposed to spell out a wish and then press enter. But we're freezing cold, so we're not going to do that. Okay, so I have a new theory on coldness. I think once it gets below a certain temperature, it's just bloody cold. And you don't really notice the difference. Because yesterday, it was like minus 22 degrees. Today, minus 11. And it still feels just as cold. Anyway, we're going to go to the mall now and prep for the next leg of the Trans-Siberian Railway.
Take a Polaroid picture. Look, there's nothing there. We're ghosts.
Beautiful wonderland.
Very beautiful, yeah. So our friend Josh introduced us to this game, and I can't remember what it's called.
Ghost Blitz.
Ghost Blitz in German, but we found the Russian one. And it's just a fun little card game. It's pretty easy to tell people how to play this, so hopefully we'll be able to use this. And to keep ourselves from going insane on the train.
So as part of the Trans-Siberian adventure, we definitely need to get some bigger gloves. So we're in a store right now in Yekaterinburg. Because the temperature's a lot colder here, I've noticed my gloves aren't good enough, so we've got a few selected here. Gloves and
a face warmer.
Okay, so we're just about to board our second train on the Trans-Siberian Railway. This one is going from Yekaterinburg to Irkutsk. 54 hours on the train. Now we're much more well prepared for this one than we were the first one. We've stocked up on food and we've got our comfiest clothes on and we're about to board.